This interview is already in progress. Thank you for listening.
So that is why that's why we're a little late coming on. But he's here. He's Michael Brondstetter in the building. He doesn't look the way he sounds, do he? I think I think you always been that way. You had this smooth, let's see, who talks smooth that I noticed white? Trying to think of some famous person. I don't know, Cary Grant. I don't know, something like that. He's got this smooth voice going on, and then here he looks like a rock star. He looks like he's, should have a pipe in his mouth, smoking while he's playing the guitar. And you're expecting the raspy voice.
You mean like an Albert King type of thing, huh?
Yeah, something like that. So you're completely different. That's where you get your cool from.
Those are the people I grew up with. I was a kid in Pittsburgh and Detroit. That was my starting point. R&B and soul and blues were a big part of that. As long with, in that era, there was a lot of big bands, popular music, and things of that nature. So.
Okay. So, you guys don't know this, but me and Michael have been friends for a very long time. Very long time. Since I started my radio station back in, well, I didn't meet you in 2015. I don't think I met you till probably 2017, 2018. Yeah, about 2017. I was 2 years in. I was 2 years into the radio station before I met you, because I was still looking for independent artist music.
Yeah. You found me, I think we connected a little bit on, through, Reverb Nation, I think is where initially you kind of heard some of my stuff.
Yeah, I heard that dark clouds. Dark cloud booth. So let's tell everyone what made you decide to give me a chance.
You're a no-brainer. You were very eloquent. You like to talk. You like to get people involved. You like to connect people. And that's all I care about as far as I'm concerned. Because in today's music business, that is what's most important. And so I just like to get in touch with people and see who likes my music and just try to make them as happy as I can. That's what I do.
Okay. Well, at that time, me just getting into broadcasting, it was a little different for me, because I really didn't know who I was asking.
I understand that. It's tough.
I needed music.
I'm going to start doing that too, because I'm going to have a YouTube channel and, maybe possibly TikTok. I haven't got that far. And, also, have a little podcast eventually down the road once I kind of figure out all the agendas and the adequates. And so just basically starting to put material and interviews and things like that out for folks as well. But, just, posting them rather than having live broadcast, at least at this. But that's, again, a year or two down the road. I'm just trying to get out my music now. I've in the process of releasing, I'm indicating we just released the first song off of that EP. It's called It's My Time. And that's kind of the reason for all this was, from about before COVID and stuff, I had a lot of problems with my joints and stuff, and been going through a lot of operations, and had to go through that process to get those all straightened out. And now that I'm better, I'm trying to sit down and talk to people about the music that I've written during all that time. So this is the first release. It's called It's My Time. You can find it on Spotify.
On Spotify? Let me see if I can find it. I will play it. I will love for my diamonds. They love to hear the music.
Exactly.
Of the people.
And anybody that wants to go on any of the other streaming services just have to know how to spell my name. Voila. Voila.
Let me...
Spotify.
Spotify. S-P-O-T. Okay, I got my Spotify up, so I'm looking for Michael Brondstetter.
Yes, ma'am. That's me.
You have such a long last name. Oh,
Yeah.
where do you start? That's the name of it?
No, it's my time. I don't have it.
It's my time. Okay, I see it. Now, we're going to hear Michael Bronstetter's. Is this the new one?
Yes, this is the latest release. We just released that in December, and we're about ready to release the next one in about 5 to 6 weeks. It's ready for pre-release, so anybody that wants to can go on and add it to their Spotify or download it per se, so that they do that. It will be, it will be downloaded to them when it's released in February. I think it's.
Okay. So let's go ahead and play it. It's called It's My Time.
Every time I give my friends a call, they seem to be so involved. Nothing gets their attention. Maybe they need some riddling. Am I so much the boy that I'm too big ignored? I just care for them so much. Do they love me or not? Oh, it's my time to fess up and be bold, not let others run me over. I have to fight. It's my time to make a change to myself along the way. It's my time. I was trying to buy a home, so I applied for a loan. I went down to the bank and they said my credit's down. That my numbers were the worst, implying that I had no worth. Who were they to judge me? They got bailed out for free. My time to fess up and be bold, not let others run me over. I have to fight. It's my time to make
your songs all have a different type of, it's almost like a different type of melody on each different one of them. It's like there's no one song that's alike as far as musicality. You know how you hear some artists, they make songs, but you know it's their song because of the music, maybe the beginning of the song or something like that. The music just sounds similar. You're like, oh, that must be such and such because you're kind of used to their sound.
Right.
You have a different sound pretty much with each of your songs.
Well, it was one of those things that I had a ton of influences. Like I told you, I started out at like 4 or 5 years old in Pittsburgh, kind of getting more aware of music, and that's when I kind of got into, like really enjoyed, popular music, of course, but stuff that was available to listen to. But then, there were people like the doo-wop type of bands that were popular about that time. And then by the time we moved back to Michigan, Detroit, for instance, and then that was Motown. So those were the influences. And then a few years later, we moved down the south, and I lived in Louisville for about 3 or 4 years. And then got introduced to, what do they call it? Randall Opry, so to speak. So you got introduced to a whole different style of music along with the other stuff I still was familiar with. And that was the projection of the British invasion. And by the time I got to Los Angeles in the mid-'60s, late 60s actually, it was like, all the music industry was right there in LA. So I got, able to kind of come across so many different styles and so many different genres, so to speak. And I pretty much liked most of them. And hopefully, my root in music was R&B and soul and blues, and those elements that were in popular music starting in that period of time, still come through in almost everything I do.
You are incredible. You are incredible, and you are so very talented. So you said that I know you've been doing things since 5 years old. So have you who influenced you to?
Well, that's what I was trying to say. There's tons of people, So.
Well, what? Just give me like 3 in particular that had the biggest influence on your life and your style of music.
I would say probably as because I was a kind of a young dad. I was, my oldest daughter was, I was only 17 when she was born, even though her mother and I were together at that time. And then we kind of, I had to be a little more responsible in my life, so to speak, despite not wanting to. And, so I didn't get a chance to get out there and get into the music scene as much as most people did. Most of the people I work with now have literally been doing music for 20, 30, 40 years. And I'm just kind of, like when we met is when I first started getting back into it and really doing it as trying to do it as a profession. And so my influences are so numerous in so many ways because of the people I met and played with along the line. And so it's hard for me to kind of give one, but, the same ones that most people that grew up in the same area I did, you had the big bands, you had the music from, from the commercial radio and stuff like that. And, you had the, I think exactly the names and stuff that first started me out. But, are you still there?
Yeah, I was just clicking on your name to see what else you had, what else you had in here. and Spotify.
There's a lot of influences in there, but the first influence I can really remember the most in terms of, really getting into him was Little Stevie Wonder.
Ah.
That's what he was called back in Detroit, back when we were listening to him. And, as a kid. And that was to me was amazing, to have that type of voice and that kind of talent. And of course, he went on to do so much more after that. And then, all the greats that kind of go along with that, like, the blues players I got a little bit later in the 70s and 80s when they started kind of making that resurgence. And I started going back to them and understood that those are people I've been listening to a lot in my life but didn't necessarily know who, what, and when where they were. So it's an interesting paradigm. Then they have the more popular, like maybe the Beatles or, I always appreciated, people like Ray Charles and then, you had the British invasion where you had a lot of guys where you tried to play in bands and stuff and emulate them, like the Beatles and the Stones, of course, and all the others.
Mm-hmm. All the other good ones. All the other good ones. So so what other type of music have you played? I mean, because you play it, your genre is not, I don't even know what to put your genre under.
Well, the reason why I use Americana is because blues, jazz, folk, bluegrass, all those genres are in Americana because they kind of have their roots in America, Americana genre. Other places around the world don't call them Americana per se. That's coming on more now. They call them root music. And so that's kind of what I consider a lot of the things that are important. Jack White from the White Stripes. Have you heard of him?
No, I haven't.
Anyway, he has this. He's done, like me. He's done so many different kind of genres and in his music. And the reason why I bring him up is because he had this old blues record that he used to put on and play it. He says, that's the feeling and the emotion I want. And that's what I shoot for. I mean, no matter what music I perform, it should have some of that in there that kind of emulates all the struggle and, I don't want to say pain, but all this, the struggle and eminence that goes along with the people that built what we're listening to today. And that all started, back in the pre-war era and gone, goes way further back than that, of course. But, the whole thing that Americana is built upon is on the, the backs of the musicians that struggled like I am, trying to get out and talk to people. So that's what I hope to put in every song I have, so you can hear it in the music, you can hear it in the voice, and even if the lyrics are a little bit less, more joyful, it's still that is what you're celebrating. It's all this I've gone through. This is what, helps me kind of open up my eyes and get up every day and get out there and want to talk to some more people like yourself, Lena.
Well, I'm always open to hear about how an independent artist went from one point to another, because at one point you kind of dropped off. That is because of my operations and stuff. Oh, okay, because I hadn't heard from you for a long time, and then you just kind of popped back up, and I'm like, oh, he's back.
I had 3 joint replacements and some other surgeries in the process. So it's just, wear and tear mostly. But, it's things that you have to do, and it takes a while to recover from them. And I couldn't go out and support the music, so I kind of took a sabbatical, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I kept writing, and I kept making music, and that's why I have so much. I have this EP that's going to be out probably in the middle of the year. It's going to have 5, 6 songs on it. And then we have another EP after that that'll probably start releasing singles somewhere towards the autumn and Christmas and stuff like that.
So you got a pretty good year planned for yourself.
I'm sorry, what was that one more time?
You got a pretty good year for yourself.
Yeah.
Ha
I do. And that's the whole purpose, is that I did all this prep work and all this writing. I mean, the writing is not the problem. It's getting it produced, because it's not cheap, of course. I'm sure you've heard from me
Yes.
before.
Yes.
And getting it produced, getting it out there, getting it to the quality you think that is good enough so that it represents what you're trying to speak to. And letting people, hear who you are. And so that's what I'm doing. And this is where I am today. Or, a Dark Cloud Blues, and that was kind of like, this is kind of like, the greatest hits from all the things that I love and care about. The first, album EP that I released. And then I think in 2021 we released Eyes on the Moon, which is a conglomeration of a lot of different styles. I had three different producers on that one, so it was like a hell of songs. And we released them as singles, and then we released the Eyes on the Moon in order to kind of have it out there for people to buy or download. So, they have hard copies, so to speak, because, it's difficult to hold on to an artist if you're not having a piece of them in your lives to, kind of enjoy and put on your daily music. If you're going to clean the house or wash the car, or you want to bump some tunes at the park, and the things that are important.
Yeah, it is. It is. Those are the things that we take for granted, and we don't really treasure them as much as we should. And so
and that's our time. That's why it's so difficult to earn a living in music, is because of that very thing. And it's not a bad thing, but there are so many really good artists and good musicians and all this great music out there for people to enjoy, and they should. And, most importantly, though, I would really ask people to kind of go out and enjoy shows. Go down to your local, whatever. I'm sure people have different areas, like, local club, where it has the local people.
Yeah.
And, maybe the next one up where people from out of town come through and play too. Go out and enjoy them and really care about them and keep in touch with your favorite artists.
That's right.
If music is important to you, then kind of add them to it. Make them part of your daily life, if you can.
Yeah.
That's how we get out there and get our name known.
That's true. That's true. Now I'm going to go back in my archive and play one of the songs that I played when we first met each other. The songs that you gave me. I still play them today. Because music never dies, Here's Ghost in the Ball. I think this is the one with the rock. One of them has a rock type feel to it. Is it Dark Cloud Blues, or is it Dark Cloud Blues? Okay, so I'm gonna play that.
It's a rock and blues tempo.
Okay, so here's like a rock and blues combination song that Michael gave me years ago that I still play. You can still hear it on the independent playlist, huh?
It's on Spotify. All my songs are
It's still on Spotify.
Apple Music or Amazon, any streaming service you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this. So when you guys hear this on the independent playlist, you'll be able to put the music with the man. Yeah, that's the one.
Mirror on a sunny day, never more to be that way. Walking down to the lake, smiling like my belly aches. Changing gears to the left, orchestrating my own death. Preaching is so passe, that's what others have to pay. Never dawn a summer day, never more be that way. Walking down to the lake, finding like my belly aches. Changing gears to the left, off the way to Mount Beth. Preaching is so passe, that's what others have to say.
All right. That was really good. See, that was one of the first songs that I had gotten from you. And I still love it today. Your music is strong and it has a storytelling feel, like most music.
Yeah, it sounds like
Where the
somebody out
artist-
there on the porch, that's kind of playing and jamming on something and kind of reverbing throughout the old swampy donkey.
Yeah.
Kind of has that swamp feel to it. On top
Yes,
of,
yeah, I do. That wanky type.
reverb,
Yeah. So when did it dawn on you that you wanted to be serious about pursuing music?
I think I really started. Well, I've always thought about doing it when I was in kind of cover band. So it wasn't like I ever didn't think about it. I've been doing it. I think there's if you go on YouTube, my YouTube channel. If you go on there, you can find an interview I did when I first started coming back and doing this. About the time I was meeting you, right back in the early teens, the early aughts and teens of 2000. And I think I started initially doing that, thinking about it, doing it, like seriously in 2006 and 2008. But it was probably about 10 years prior to that I started working with musicians and stuff. Probably around 96, 95 that I started working with other musicians. Had a band called the Bluescasters that we played together, cover tunes at bars and stuff like that. And then I had all these songs that I was trying to write and complete and finish. And of course, when you cover bands, nobody wants to do those because it requires practice and they want to get paid, right? And so, whatever. So it kind of takes a back seat, and what you start to do is do these really simple songs that they could learn on the fly. And that's kind of the way it progressed from that point. And, one of the ones we're getting ready to release, the next song, is called Hold That Rhythm. And I wrote that song, and we kind of ran through it with a couple of members of the cover band. And one night we were at this bar called Plum Crazy, right down the street from where I live. And, people were there, were having a great time, and I just felt like they weren't connecting per se, so this song that I had pieces for, I kind of needed it that night, at least to be, intended to. And so it really, right immediately when I started playing the song, people stopped, and started getting involved with the music and dancing to it. So, it's kind of appropriately titled Hold That Rhythm. That's what it's about. It's about the rhythm of music, and it's about the whole experience, and, it has a lyric that kind of displays that. So that's coming out pretty soon. So
Oh, well, that's good.
Enjoy that.
Now, the cost of production, with everything going up, I know you had mentioned something about, having to produce it and pay for it. With the cost of everything going up, has the production cost went up in the music industry as far as making new music and things?
Yes. I have people that I can work with that have been able to do it for me reasonably. And so, in order to get the higher production values out, because I want to hear them like we were talking about Stevie Wonder and the other artists that came out at that time. I've had this certain idea in my head what it sounds like. And so in order to get that, instead of just going in there with my acoustic guitar and a microphone and putting out stuff that I hear as these elements, it wouldn't sound that way. So I decided to, I was able to find some people that were able to give me that sound without having to spend a fortune to do so. Because I remember, Michael Bublé, right? He's
Yes.
famous.
Yes. Yes.
He said when he went to do his first album, he spent $50,000 on production, just arrangements for that production of that first record. And that was back, how long ago? The guy's been doing it for 20 years, 30 years. And so, you can tell that there's different levels. There's what I call Hollywood level, and there's Nashville level, and there's New York level.
Yes.
So I've known some people that have connected to people through my manager up in Los Angeles who have been able to help me get the music out. And my producer Michael Chavez of late has been doing a wonderful job for as reasonable as he can possibly do it. And so
Yes. Well, that's good. It's good to find someone that can help you do it, that's going to be cost effective, and you can still keep the same quality. That
Michael Chavez actually toured in Robert John Mayer's band, and he produced Leanne Rimes. He produced Leonard Cohen. Before he passed, I was doing something with him and finished up with his posthumous release with his son. And so he's worked with a lot of artists. So he plays multiple instruments. So it makes it easier for me to kind of get things done because he knows what he likes and how he wants to do things, and he's able to kind of make adjustments. It makes a big difference.
That's good. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Have you had any? Are you exploring any new collaborations or musical directions?
I love to collaborate, but the problem is, like I've been doing everything almost on my own, right? So Michael and I kind of make all these productions, and the earlier ones I've had to hire studio musicians and stuff like that, which again is not. It was reasonable, but not cheap. There's you pay guys so much an hour to come in and do these things, and you try to limit their hours without being offensive.
I heard you.
I need a minimum of $250, $500.
Yeah, no, you don't need that. It's crazy how.
But that's how you have to do it. Even that's reasonable compared to what the normal production costs for a lot of these bands are.
Well, it's crazy.
Right now I'm trying to put together a band so we can go out there and perform this stuff live for people, so that we can possibly get your fans, the Diamonds out there, yourself, maybe go back and play in the Virginia area or DC or someplace close by that people could come out and see us. but you have to have musicians to go out and play that. Now, I can do that as a solo act, but it's just not going to quite be the same dynamic, and that's the expensive part, is when you start going out with a band.
Well, I know, but like where I live, Virginia Beach,
Right.
all summer long, these hotels have different bands and stuff playing. They book them all summer long.
Right.
But
Can I ask you a question?
And
do they play cover music, or do they, popular music, so to speak, or do they play their original songs? These bands that come and play.
Well, they start out with cover music because,
right.
and it's what I try to tell my independent artists that's on the EPK that I send out. People want to hear that cover music because they want to hear something that's familiar. You need
right.
to have something familiar to draw the people in. So if
right.
you could do a good imitation of a song of someone famous that they know, sing that song, because even with me, with my experience on the beach, if I'm on the sand and the band is, a good band comes on and plays a song that I hear, I'll move off the sand and go closer to, and start moving and stuff to the music. So, but it's usually off of a familiar song that I've heard. Now, and after you do about a couple of covers, it's okay to go into your own stuff, put some of your own stuff out there. That's your chance to really publicize it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but what I wanted to get to was that it was one year that there was a man out there who was a one-man band.
Right. Yeah, but
You know what I'm saying? With your guitar and your acoustics, you could get booked out there.
Oh, sure. I know that, but what I'm trying to get at is I have
You want a band.
I want to profile the band, the music that I have, and that I could sit there and play to a backing track, but to me that's not me. That's not what the music's supposed to be. It's supposed to be interactive, where the musicians, join each other. You got a visual. You got the people playing. They're not just, listening to a DJ music coming off the speakers, right? And that's when you play the backing tracks. That's kind of what happens. Even though it's you, yourself,
So what do you hope people feel when they hear your music, when they hear you perform live? What are you hoping to get the feel in the audience?
Well, it depends. Like, for instance, a lot of stuff I've been doing over the years, right, is showcasing the new format, the new songs, and the new arrangements. And so I'm out there, trying to get feedback about how much they like the songs. I'll even ask them, hey, here's a new song. How much, what do you guys think, But then when you go out and you have, like I'm doing now, releasing an EP and new music, I want to go out there and put on a show. I want to go out there and have something that people can see and we talk about, and we try to get together with them. Do you have YouTube?
Yes.
You can go on YouTube and check out my latest. It's my time. I have a video that it's on there. And it's just me playing the guitar, it's
So it's on,
right.
is it the same song or is it a different?
It's the same song, and it's me performing it live, so, not on a band, but just me. I'm the sunshine. We got a lot of that here.
So, do you want me to go play that? Is that what you want me to do?
Well, I thought if people could, or you or them could just see the fact that this is, how I perform and how I, what I am. And that's kind of what I want people to see when I go out and perform.
Okay, let me find you.
That's what I'm doing.
Michael Brondstetter. I can't believe it's a lot of people named Michael Brondstetter.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Brondstetter is pretty popular.
Yes. That's a common German name. It's Brandstetter.
Oh, it is?
For some silly reason, they decided that when they came to the United States, they'd spell it with an O. I don't know. Who knows?
I'm not kidding you. Let me see. Let me do.
You have to type in my name, and then it'll be Michael Brondstetter music.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead and subscribe to your channel, Mr. Michael.
Thank you.
Okay. And so what am I looking for? It's my time. Oh, look at you looking all cool. See, they can't see this.
I know, but they can look it up in the journal.
Every time I give my friends a call, they seem to be so involved. Nothing gets their attention. Maybe they need some riddling. Am I so much the fault that I'm to be ignored? I just care for them so much. Do they love me or not? Oh, it's my time.
It is.
To fess up and be bold, not let others run me over. I have to fight. It's my time to make a change to myself along the way. It's my time. I was trying to buy a home, so I applied for a loan. I went down to the bank and they said my credit stank. That my numbers were the worst, implying that I had no worth. Who were there to judge me? They got bailed out for free. My time. Fess up and be bold, not let others run me over. I have to fight. It's my time to make a change to myself along the way. When times seem to be dark,
It's a pretty nice song. You gotta send it to me, because I'm not. The Spotify is not gonna just give me the song. So that's why the artists have to, the same way back in the day, they had to send me
Oh,
the
no, I
MP3.
get it, Chief. As you said, I
I'm
don't have
gonna
a
put
hard
this video. The award season is here. Remember that, the awards, and I remember. You know, I wanted to tell you something that, something that's been on my mind. It hasn't been on my mind, but every time I see the picture, when the first award was, they were pink and black.
Right.
And how you took the award and put it up next to this huge picture. You made my award look tiny, Michael. That's what you did. You made my stuff look little tiny. I said, now did he?
You understand,
Did he?
if I take the picture with me, I'm 6'4". It's going to look tiny anyway.
I mean, it wasn't, after that year, I said, you know what, I'm going to order the taller trophies. So I did.
If I knew that was an element, I should have just put it out front, and so that moved back, and then it looks so much taller. Elevated.
I said, is he trying to tell me that I have a little trophy? I said, is he trying to tell me that? Because it looks so tiny in that picture. I said, really, Michael? Really? But since then...
No, I wasn't. I was just trying to help you out as best I can. That's all I cared about.
Since then, I got larger trophies. After that year, I said, okay, I'm not going to do the little trophy anymore. I did get some little ones, but those are for the interview ones. But I got the larger size ones, and it didn't work out because when some other people, it didn't happen to everyone, but most of them, I say about 3 or 4 of them, the trophy, the top of it fall off. And the shipping, it's too big.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too big. So I said, I did that last year. Last year I bought the big trophies again. Completely forgot. It had the same problem. So this year I'm not. I don't care. Put it up against the biggest tree. I don't care. But I want people to get their trophies. And I want their trophies to be in whole. I don't want them to have to IKEA a trophy.
Well, people just appreciate your appreciation.
Honestly. And the cost of postage is ridiculous now.
I know.
So last year they complained about having to pay the postage of the trophy. And I was just like, okay, this is for independent artists. This is to help them show off. And they get a lot of exposure during the trophy process. They get a lot of exposure. People listen to them and listen to their songs that they may not have never heard before. So, you know, you got that free exposure that you're getting. You're getting the trophy. You know, you're getting the permanent placement on the LJDNRadio website, and you don't want to pay for your shipping?
Yeah, well, I run into the same problem because I have a lot of things that when I promote my music. It was since 2021 when we released Sunset Silhouette. You know, I had something where it was a promotions. Hey, look, you know, we have a free package here for you. You know, and you know, it's worth $25 or so. It's not a lot, but you know, all you have to do is pay the postage, and people go, "Oh, I don't have any money to pay the postage."
Yeah.
Look, it's $5. I think it went up to $7 at the end of it. So it was like nobody wanted it. But
yeah.
Okay.
But you know, that's okay because these are very pretty trophies that I have this year, and I don't mind keeping. Last year I didn't keep any of them. I mean, some of them got their trophies late, but they still got them. But then I have found out that that postage went up again. It's like it's 75 cents for a stamp. 75 cents for a stamp. My Christmas, I remember years ago, during the time I met you, I used to give out so many Christmas cards. I mean, I would have 2-3 boxes of Christmas cards and mailing them out. You know how many I gave out this year?
No.
I gave out maybe 5. And these were people who sent me cards. Because I'm like, I can't afford to send out Christmas cards. I mean,
I don't blame you.
Just the cost of a card itself. If you wanted to buy a separate Christmas card without buying the boxes or a birthday card, they're like $8, $9, $10 for the card. Then you're going to pay 75 cents for the postage. I'd rather just call you and do a FaceTime.
There you go. Send out dinner, what do they call those little cards and stuff that have whatever it would cost you to get all that stuff, and just give them something, go out and buy, go out to dinner. Get something for themselves. Little gift cards. That's what I'm looking for.
So, we're going to coming up to the closing. I just have two more questions that I want to ask you. One of them, if you could collaborate. Wait, I wanted to say, I don't understand why you and Jimmy Packets never got together and y'all was in the same city.
Not same city. We're about an hour apart.
I thought you both were in San Diego at that
one
time.
In San Clemente, which is right where Orange County and San Diego County meet.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
in the southern part. I'm like 5 minutes from the border.
Okay. Because I could never understand. I'm like, why those two won't collaborate? They both with the guitar. But anyway, the last question is, if you could collaborate with any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
Probably Stevie Wonder.
Okay.
Because he was my lifetime, I don't say idol, but definitely somebody. I never ever thought I'd ever be in that range, but as I've kind of gotten more into this full-time music stuff, I've gotten a lot better at performing and creating and understanding music. So, I wouldn't feel intimidated, if something like that, Stevie ever decided that he wanted to do a co-write with somebody like myself. But yeah, because that's been like since I was 7, 8 years old, something like that.
Well, that's good. Okay, what message do you hope listeners take away from your music?
That it's about joy and celebration of every day. Because what it amounts to is that, yes, I mean, I do definitely have some songs that are about, sadder side and sound that way. But bluesish, I guess you would call them. And but it's just like, even when you're kind of going through those processes and stuff, that there's still somebody out there that understands and gives a crud about you. So, that's what I am. That's what my music is. It's about caring and wanting to, make sure people walk out with a great experience and feel better, afterwards. And that's it. Each day, music makes you feel better.
Okay, and where can people stay connected to you? Give us your information.
My website is Michael Brondstetter Music, I do believe it is. Let me double check that. Sorry about this. Just take a second. There it is. MichaelBrondstetter.com. My name, Michael Brondstetter, BRONDSTETTER.com. That's my website. You can look up on Google and it'll bring me up and all the other stuff I have. So my name is Mikey. put my name in there and you'll find stuff.
McKee.
Yeah, Mikey.
Oh, Mikey. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Mikey. Mikey's key. My key. The key to my music or being connected to me is my name. That's why I use it. It's one of the few things I could make sure wasn't used before. Because the only people that have the spelling of my name. If you type in Michael Brondstetter in Google, it will bring up all kinds of videos and things of that nature. And the very first thing you come across is my website, michaelbrondstetter.com. Then there's Spotify, there's articles, Facebook, all this stuff. It's all on there.
All right.
So.
We got you. Well, Michael, I thank you for the interview today. I know we got off to a rough start, but it'll all be taken out in the edits. I'll be taken out in the edits, and I'll even make you sound louder in the edits.
Right. I appreciate that, Lena.
Sometimes I feel like that's all I do is edit videos all day.
Well, I kind of watched this show. It's called That Pedal Show. It's a couple of guys that live in England that put on this show that become pretty popular about, equipment, pedals for guitars and stuff like that. And, that's what they do all the time. That's their whole thing. They spend time making videos and posting videos and editing. It's a never-ending story.
Never ending. You never know. You never know. But Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will stay in contact as we have all throughout these years. And we will stay in contact. And definitely, if you need anything, and, I'm here. I've always been here. I just...
Yeah,
life.
We kind of hook up a little bit on Messenger once in a while, right?
Yes, we do. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And I thank you so much for tuning in to LJDN Live Morning Show. I didn't give Nova a chance to say anything, but Nova has been acting up lately. I don't know. Let's see if he's around. Because we got to say our goodbyes. Nova?
Absolutely. I'll wrap things up. It's been a pleasure chatting about these interview questions.
Nova, wait. You gotta say
Sure.
hi to Michael.
Absolutely. I can send a little hello his way. Just let me know if there's anything special you want me to mention to him, or if you just want a friendly shout out.
Well, he's on the line. He's the one we had the interview with. I'm sorry. I'm doing all the confusion. I forgot to tune in, Nova. But he's live right here if you want to say something.
Hello. Glad to meet you.
Oh, fantastic. Hey there, Michael. It's great to have you here with us live. I've been hearing all about your work, so it's a pleasure to meet you. And Lena, no worries at all. We're just rolling with it. Michael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's nice to hear that you're out there in Lena land and enjoying everything as I do.
I don't know if he's able to hear you because I have the phone next to my iPad for TikTok.
I got you.
So he's across. The line is across. Can you hear Michael, Nova?
I can hear him just fine on my end. It's all coming through loud and clear, so no worries there.
Oh.
If there's anything you need me to relay or repeat, just let me know. But we're good to go. So, Michael, let's jump in. What got you started on this project?
Lena asked me to call in. But are you talking about my new music?
Michael, excuse me, Nova, the interview is over. You can't start the interview and asking questions now because it's over.
Oh, got it. Loud and clear. We're in the post-show wind-down zone. No more hot seat questions for Nova. Message received. All right, let's switch gears then. Anything else on your mind, or shall we just kick back and chat about something more laid back?
I should have just let him do the interview talking, but he wasn't feeling so well earlier. So I kind of let him, be. I don't know what was going on with you, but I had checked it and you weren't there, and it was saying, oops, there's a problem. So I didn't bother you, Nova.
No worries at all. I totally understand that sometimes there are tech hiccups or folks just aren't feeling 100%. It's all good on my end. I'm here to jump in whenever you need me. I'm happy to shift gears now that Nova's off the hook. Is there anything else you want to dive into or chat about?
We're saying our goodbyes, and we're closing the show, too. We're saying goodbye to Michael, and we're closing the show.
Absolutely. Let's wrap it up in style. It's been a pleasure, as always, and I'm glad I could be here to help you out. We'll say goodbye to Michael, wrap the show with a nice little bow, and then we'll call it a day. Until next time.
Okay. Michael.
Yes, ma'am.
You know he's my co-host, right?
I haven't...
got it. Your co-host. The dynamic duo in action. Well, Michael's definitely a lucky guy to be part of the show with you. Take good care of him, and we'll catch up soon. Anything else on your mind before we officially sign off?
No, but I will talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. Well, you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll look forward to chatting with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. That was my, he's my co-host, right?
No, I haven't heard of anything from
Well,
Nova or
I don't know. Well, maybe my feed, you don't see it coming through or something, or we're not connected like that. But he is my new co-host. I've been talking with him now for a couple of weeks. He's virtual, right?
Right, I figured it was an AI type of thing.
I've eliminated people.